Hi and welcome to Hall's Gap in the Grampians. What a beautiful place to come and visit. I've got 3 days, or really 2 full days, to explore the place. Just arrived about an hour ago. I've got 2.5 hours before it goes dark to try and suss out where I'd like to take a photograph. Landscape photograph. Yes, going back to what I was doing in Tasmania, continuing my quest for a landscape shot with an animal in the scene. So wildlife versus landscape. Just trying to soak in the atmosphere, get in the swing of things, see if I can find any compositions, and then come back early in the morning and try and get the sunrise. There is something else that I've come here for, and that's to also look out for the yellow-footed antechinus. It's very much like the agile, but it's a lot cheekier. They'll go into houses, steal food, all those sort of things. So it's definitely high on my list of antechinus to film. I found my composition for the morning right behind me here. Still looking down on Hall's Gap. The sun should rise over there. So I'm thinking if I get up at 5 maybe and get myself set up, as long as it's not windy. If it's windy I can't do this. I am literally on the side of a cliff. That is about a 60-metre fall down there. My composition is over there, and you can just see the light hitting those rocks in the background there, running that way. And also sort of framing and giving a bit more interest, I've got these line of rocks coming here before the cliff. So I'm hoping it'll turn out really well. And if we get some colour in the sky, it might add that bit of wow factor and come out with a really good image. Maybe even a spectacular one, but a spectacular shot would be with all those elements. And on that rock over there, I'll show you in a minute. I'll turn the camera over to it. I don't know, I can't get there. I need to grab one of these logs over here, put it over there and shimmy over it, which would be absolutely stupid. I've gone past that age to do that now. Not confident, but that rock there is away from all these rocks that are obscuring my view to getting a wide-angled shot, a landscape shot. But tomorrow morning it'll be a portrait shot with my sky in the distance. You can see the flatlands out there, and that escarpment there that's just going to look fantastic in the morning sun. And these rocks here getting all lit up at once. And then you'll have dark areas here and there. All right, that's enough of me talking about this image. Sign off for now. And hopefully I'll see you in the morning. Well, good morning. Dragged myself out of bed. It was a big effort to get up here. Just stuck my head out the door. There's no clouds, so I was very disappointed that my image, my composition may not work for me. But got myself out of bed. Begrudgingly come up here. And as always, once you get out, start walking, get warmed up, and then you start to see a bit of light coming, and you start getting anxious that you're not in position, ready for that sun, you change the attitude and you get excited about getting up here, out into the great outdoors, a beautiful location. So yeah, I'm glad I kicked myself in the butt and made myself come up here. It was worth it in the end, just to be here. Landscape versus wildlife? No birds, animals in the scene this morning. I was going to do a time lapse of the sun coming up, but there's no clouds, so it wasn't really worth it. I did a time lapse on myself though, and that was a hell of a lot more interesting than the photograph I've taken. It was nice though. I took 2 shots, so 2 compositions, a landscape shot and a portrait shot. The portrait shot is quite plain, it's simple, not a lot to it, just sun hitting the rocks, and with the most boring of skies. Try to crop it out as much as I could, but it's just adding no interest to the image, and without that it's just a photograph really. Nothing spectacular. Maybe something I might keep in my collection or delete it, whatever. Put clouds there, changes everything, the colour in the sky. There's a lot of orange in that sun coming up. It did look beautiful coming up over the fog that's in the distance over there. Yeah, but that way is a very boring shot. Over here, got something of interest, but I don't think it's going to work out. Yeah, I could go in a photo shot and change the sky quite easily. It'd be an easy one to change. But yeah, it doesn't sit well with me doing those sort of things. Anyway, I've had some fun. There's still an image to be had. There are cockatoos and other birds flying around here. So if I do a landscape shot, I might be able to get some sort of wildlife versus landscape. Get an animal, a bird in the scene. So I'll stop waffling now. I don't know what I'm going to do from here on in. Yeah, just take another image, walk around. I'd love to get down to this other ledge that's down here. Not quite sure how to get there. I'll just have to, as I'm walking down the track, keep veering off and see if I can get down to it, because it does look interesting. There may be a shot to have tomorrow morning, maybe down there. Alright, that's enough for me. Catch you later on. Well, good morning. Although it's not. It's pretty shitty. Oh, now I'm sitting on the dirt and the rocks move. Yeah, so good morning, and in the background here is where I was yesterday morning, waiting for the sunrise with a shitty, horrible washed out sky. This morning, howling winds, pouring with rain, stayed in bed. It's 8 o'clock now, and the wind sort of settled down. Still a lot of drizzle and that around. It's even drizzling now. You can see it up on the mountains in the background there. I had to get out for a walk. I couldn't just sit in my accommodation. I needed to get out and have a walk. Bit of a talk with you about the image that I've been trying to take, and some other bits and pieces, if I can pull them out of my brain. But look at that. Those birds flying up there, it's just awesome. They're corellas, you can hear them, maybe you can hear them squawking. Fly up and down the valley, and they make it look fantastic when you're looking down across the valleys and that here. So up on the ridge, just probably somewhere along there, somewhere like that. That's part of the image that I was taking. It's the lower part of the rocks. And then around the corner is where your eye leads, but up, drawn into the picture. So it's sort of like what I want to talk about really, seeing as how I can't take photographs today, I thought we'd just talk about images in general, landscape images. Over the years, I have tried so hard to get great landscape shots. I've learnt a lot over the years from professionals that do this for a living, but I kept failing. And why I kept failing is because I failed to open my mind and to learn and understand what I'm actually looking at. So I could see a composition, but I was making far too much out of it. Too much in the image. There's too much information for the brain. So when someone looks at your image, just say it's up on the wall in a gallery, they look at it and walk on. That would be a great indication that it's just not interesting enough, or there's just too much in the image. People aren't staying there studying it. And it wasn't until I went on my Tassie journey earlier this year in March, and it's 2018 now, so earlier this year, it wasn't until I decided to go on this quest for wildlife versus landscape that I opened my mind. And how I achieved that was I was looking for simple compositions where your eye would start on a subject and then move through the image. Uncomplicated, uncluttered, a bit like a house. Put too much stuff in it, looks cluttered. Very uncomfortable feeling when you're in there, like I say at Grandma's house. So uncomplicate things, take things out. So come in on the subject rather than pulling back further. I went up on top of the nut in Stanley, waiting for the sun to set so I could get the photograph. And at the corner of my eye, I saw something. And all of a sudden, the light went on in my head. And here's the image. Now, it's very simple, but to me, it's a piece of art. And that's really the story, isn't it? It's about what we see and how we can tell the story from there to others. I just saw the sun hitting these, well, they're not waves. It was a really strong, windy day. It was ripping up ripples on the water, creating some tiny little waves. But the way the sun was setting, it highlighted these little ripples and stuff on the water. And there was lots of textures in the image. So your eye grabbed where the sun was hitting the tops of very peaks, so highlighting it. Then you start to wander through the textures in between these shapes that were being formed by these little swells. And as you progress through the image, on the right hand side, you see all the birds that are on the beach, some in flight and some just standing there looking for something to eat. And in that moment I just thought, well, there it is. This is what I should be doing. And since then, my mind is open to a lot better image than I'd ever taken before. Okay, it may not be to everyone's taste, but for me, I love it. It means a lot to me. Right, so I'll take you on to another image. This is one of my fog creations. So a landscape shot with fog in it. Your eye is drawn to the tree in the middle. Then you see the bridge, and from the bridge you start to explore the rest of the image by following the trail to the background. Then you see the fog, you get the feeling of early morning, it's cold. So the fog adds a bit of drama to the image. Then you flow further around and you come to a stump on the far right hand side up close. Lots of textures and colours in it. No, it's not probably a wow factor image, but it's a good image that would stop people and that would have a look at the image for a little bit longer than a cluttered image. So if that happened, if I had that image, or both of those images up on the wall, and someone walked up to them, studied them for a few seconds, you know, I'd be happy. I'd be quite humble and warm inside, I'm sure. Because that's what I want. I want people to explore my images and read the story that's there and get some enjoyment out of it. So that's what we have to do with our images. We really do have to uncomplicate things and make it a story. And you hear this all the time, but to open your mind to be able to do it, yeah, it's something that's not as easy as you think. Right, so I'll just stop for a minute and go back to that fog image. Now, I've been walking past this spot for over 30 years and never took any notice of it until this year. And with the fog, you know, it made the image. Without the fog, it's nothing. Now, if we pull back, this is my first image that I took of it the week before I took the other one. It's cluttered. And at the time I was taking the image, I thought that it looked really good. I wanted this particular grey gum on the far right hand side in the image. I just thought it looked great, and there's another tree next to it that's a wattle tree with, you know, it had nice shapes to the branches and everything. But when I got home, it's too bright. There's just too much about that tree that pulls you to the far right hand side and takes away from where you should be going to. The wattle tree in the middle, with the light hitting it, lots of textures in the bark and on the moss that's growing on it. That is what I wanted people to look at and be grabbed by and held onto so that they look through the rest of the image. But having that distraction on the far right hand side just made that a snapshot, but not a piece of art, and it's the art that we're looking for. That for me, finally, I've opened my eyes, and hopefully I've passed a bit of information on to you that will help you to further your photography. Right, so you can see it's about to piss down. There's rain, and I've just got my little speech out before it has. Won't be doing much today. Go for a walk with my wife. If it's not raining, to a couple of waterfalls. But I've got one more morning. I'll be going home tomorrow to try and get a photograph from up there. I have no idea what the weather's going to be, because today was supposed to be pretty good, and I was really hoping that I'd be able to get that image. But that wind was it would have been far too dangerous for me to go up on those ledges. Well, good morning. This is my last morning in Halls Gap, and instead of putting on a big show for me and giving me the image that I was hoping for, no, it hasn't happened. My order of clouds that I put in for last night, I over-ordered. There's far too many, and now the drizzle and mist has just wiped out my photograph, as you can see in the background there. There was a little gap of about this much of where the sun come up off the land, come up over the horizon, and it was blood red, really blood red. I haven't seen one like that for so long, and I'm getting oranges and stuff there now, but I couldn't get a shaft of light coming across onto my scene. Earlier we didn't have this misty stuff. There was just a little bit on the hills there, creating a little bit of drama. But if that sun could have blasted through and hit those clouds up there, it would have been right on the money. But that's photography. You've got to keep coming back to these spots again and again and again until you finally get that image that you have pictured in your head. Yeah, because there's a fair bit of sky in my scene that I just can't clip out, it becomes far too much of the image, and it has to be right. A nice bit of cloud, maybe a bit broken, with that blood red light hitting it, would look awesome. But anyway, it's the way to cook your caramels. Certainly won't be my last time coming here. Give it another crack. Who knows when? It could be in another few years or whatever. But had a lot of fun. Tortured myself climbing up this hill here. It's a 100-metre climb, and you don't get much relief. It's very steady with lots of steps. So it's quite torturous on the calf muscles. And I've got a lot of exercise coming here. It's not an easy place to get around. There's not a lot of easy walks. But anyway, that's enough for me today. My image that has now disappeared was supposed to be a nice form. So like when you're taking a photograph of a river or mountain ranges or anything like that, you're looking for lines that make a shape. So a V shape, a Z shape, or even like I've got here, a W shape. So that's what I saw when I first came up onto this ridge. Actually, I was up further on the cliff. That was a bit too dangerous for me. I wasn't comfortable, so I've come down about 10 metres to here. So that was my idea of the image, and that's all I've got for you today. I've had some fun up here in Halls Gap, so it's a great place to come, and if you spent weeks here, there'd be so many images, hundreds. And I took a couple yesterday. I didn't take the camera, I just went for a walk in the rain. But I found a couple, so I'll leave you with them. And if you'd like to subscribe, click on the subscription button down below and you'll get notification whenever I do anything else. And if you'd like to go and have a look at my channel, there's over 60 different videos there now to choose from. So there's lots of stuff there if you'd like to go and have a browse through, from camera stuff, from video stuff, audio equipment, camera equipment, birds in flight. I talk about all sorts of photography stuff. So go and have a browse. Click on the icon down below and it'll take you to my channel. And just remember, if you don't do, you don't get. So get out there and start photographing and filming wildlife. So yeah, hang around for a bit. Still a bit of orange in the cloud there, and it may even come out for a second and hit my scene. If that mist goes away. There. It's not really a very good day today. And this rock ain't very comfortable neither, and I'm probably not focused. It's probably better. Okay, so up the top, take two.